Okay, so welcome to our now annual Data Science Symposium. What I want to do just in the next few minutes is give an update on what our activities have been over the past year and tell you a little bit about what you should expect for next year, for the near future. So we have an institute now at Vanderbilt, the Data Science Institute, and our mission is really sort of threefold. So first, it's to promote and support data-intensive research at Vanderbilt. And that means bring new big data, data science, data-intensive research to Vanderbilt that does not currently exist through hiring people. Supporting existing research by providing expertise to methodology, to data science methods to existing research groups. And then second, to do an educational piece, which is to train future leaders in data science through formal education programs like our master's degree that is starting in the fall, and also through informal workshops and boot camps and things like that. And then third, to connect with outside of Vanderbilt, so industry, government, the nonprofit sector, to partner with them, both so that our students can be connected with internships and things like that, but also because often people outside of academia know what the demands are and the needs, and so working together with people who are in academia, you can come up with the best solutions. So the Data Science Institute, we want it to be a place where people from outside and inside come together and think about solutions to problems. The Institute was formally launched last September, and we have seed funding from the trans-institutional programs, these TIPS grants that Vanderbilt has through the Office of the Provost. And so I want to thank the TIPS program for the funding, and also it's what is covering the symposium, supporting the symposium as well. We are lucky to have a really nice space. Many of you probably know about the Wondery, which is in the new Engineering and Science building. On the third floor of the Wondery is where the Data Science Institute is currently housed. We're sharing space with the Wondery. Here are a couple photos that I just took last night of the space. It's a nice, open, collaborative space. The whole purpose of the Institute is to bring people to collaborate, and so it's really important to have a collaborative space. And we really want it to be open and welcoming for everyone to come. There are going to be more and more events and activities held there, so I would urge you to just come by anytime and also check our website for events and activities that might be happening. Next year, it's going to be very busy. The leadership team of the Institute is up here. So Doug Schmidt, who is in computer science and sitting right here, and I are the co-directors. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Andreas Berlind, I'm an astrophysicist. I study the universe on the largest scales, so how we went from the Big Bang to what we observe today. So lots of data on galaxies and dark matter and things like that. Jeffrey Bloom is a professor in biostatistics and is sitting somewhere there. And he is the director of graduate education, so has been spearheading the creation and launching of the master's program that I'll talk about in a minute. Amanda Harding is our assistant director. She's standing back there and has done the bulk of the organization of the symposium, so I want to thank you right now. Thank you. Takes a lot of work to pull something like this together. Amanda comes from, before coming to the Institute, she was at Vanderbilt working in biostatistics and epidemiology, administering their master's programs. So she came with a lot of expertise. And then our most recent hire is Jesse Spencer-Smith, who was taking your photograph outside. He's our chief data scientist, and he has a lot of experience in data science, first as an academic teaching psychology, the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign for many years, and then moved to industry and has been working at HCA for many years, heading up data science team. So we're very lucky to have him. And he's someone that you might be interacting with a lot in the future. He's also going to do the live deep learning demo, and we'll see if that is a success or a total failure. He's right there. The executive committee has representation from all from the main academic units of Vanderbilt. So we have Hiba Baroud from engineering, who's going to chair our first session. Josh Clinton in arts and science, political science, who will give one of the talks. Brad Mallon from biomedical informatics. Gregor Noort from the Medical School of Medicine Basic Sciences, molecular physiology and biophysics, who's here somewhere. There. And Sonia Sturba in Peabody in the psychology and human development in their quantitative methods program. So the first thing we did in September is open up the institute to faculty affiliations, because the idea of this institute is that it should really be a home for everybody, and what we want is for faculty and researchers to come and do their work at the institute and talk to each other. So there was a lot of interest. We now have 180 affiliated faculty. The breakdown of where they come from is here. So the biggest chunk is School of Medicine, and then there's VUMC. I still do not understand the difference, but let's just lump them together. So that's the biggest chunk. Then we have arts and sciences here, engineering, and Peabody, and then a couple in law and business. Some of the affiliated faculty have been very active over the past year, coming all the time to the Institute and helping out with our various admissions committees and things like that. And we really want to have, the more people are active, the better. We were able to hire 2 faculty this year. So we had 2 searches, one in political science and one in computer science. And the searches have resolved. We have 2 people who have accepted the offers and are arriving in the fall. Cassie Dorff is a political scientist. She studies networks, and in particular conflicts. And so, for example, some of her latest work is to study conflict in Africa between militant groups using networks. And Yuan Kai Huo, who is going to come in the computer science program and is currently a assistant research professor in computer science here. And he does deep learning analyses of medical imaging. And so these are going to be 2 new faculty who are joint Data Science Institute political science or computer science faculty, and they'll be teaching some of our courses for our master's program. The plan is to have more hires next year. We are launching a postdoc fellowship program starting in the fall, and this is going to be the first cohort of postdocs. We have 6 postdocs working in all sorts of different areas who are going to come. We're going to put them together, and hopefully they're going to learn from each other and really kind of be the glue or a strong part of the interdisciplinary atmosphere we're trying to create at the Institute. We have Giles Morrow, who's an anthropologist, and at the University of Toronto, I think, currently. And he studies satellite imaging from space to kind of identify ruins in South America. We have Fernanda Elliott, who's currently a postdoc in computer science here, and she studies how scientists do exploratory data analysis when we look through plots of our data, and she's building an AI that will do the exploratory data analysis the way a scientist would do by looking at the plots and deciding what's the next plot that I should show and helping the scientists with the visual exploration. We have Laura Henkhaus, who's finishing her PhD at University of Southern California in health policy, and she is going to study the link between mental health and educational outcomes for children. So she will use 10-care data here in Tennessee, combined with educational data from the Tennessee Education Research Alliance, which is a big project in Peabody, to see how children who've had mental health therapy and various services, mental health services, might have improved educational outcomes. Jamie Tierney is currently finishing her PhD here at Vanderbilt in biomedical engineering, and she studies ultrasounds of the liver and looks at blood flows to try to apply machine learning algorithms to automatically detect where tumors might be, abnormal blood flows. Nina Hernicek is an astronomer who's a postdoc at Caltech, and she's doing amazing work using these enormous astronomy data sets that are coming down the pipeline and mining these big data sets to see what we can learn. And finally, Pedro Rodriguez is a political scientist / psychologist at NYU, and he is going to study how Republicans and Democrats think differently, and in particular, what kind of different associations they place on certain words, like government, for example, and then also study their social networks. So very, very diverse set of research problems. All of them are going to be using data science methods, and we really hope that to provide a home for them to accelerate their research and also talk to each other and potentially help each other in their research. The next thing we're doing is launching a master's program that I mentioned. This is going to be a professional master's program. So most of the students who are coming to this program are interested in then going to industry to work in data science rather than, say, go do a PhD. We have designed, and by we I mean Jeffrey, a completely from scratch curriculum, which you can see up here. It's a 2-year program, and it has computational tracks like programming and simulation and data management systems, big data and scaling and algorithms. It has statistics tracks like probability and statistical inference, modeling, and machine learning, and we have a 2-course sequence in modeling and machine learning, which is really going to be a fusion of statistics and computer science. And then we have a practice track like this data science in teams 1 and 2, where students will be put in teams, given, a client will come in and say, here's my data, this is what I want, and the teams will have a manager and a coder and, an analyst, and they're going to have to work over a few weeks to solve the problem, deliver a product, present, and then switch. Then it's going to be you're the manager and you're the software engineer, et cetera. So to try to give students practical experience in what it is like to work in teams out in industry. We are sort of wrapping up our admissions procedure. This is the snapshot as of last night. We had 145 submitted applications, and to date, 25 of our admission offers have been accepted. So we have, and that was actually our original target. So a week too late, you still owe me a pizza, but we did reach our goal. The 25 students, 13 of them are currently in the US, 12 are abroad. The countries they would be traveling from are China, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Most of the 12 are from China. And then their undergrad majors are really all over the map. 8 of them are engineers, 7 are doing statistics or math, 5 are social scientists, and 5 are natural scientists or biology. So really from all over. And they're interested in all sorts of different things, in terms of what they want to do after their degree. One really important thing is that, all of these students in this program, as in every other professional program, is they really want to get experience out in the real world. And so many of these students will be looking for internships for the summer between the first 2 years where we don't have any formal requirements in the master's program. So if you are from industry and you're interested potentially in having an intern who has the technical competencies that we'll be teaching, come talk to us. We want to have a menu of interesting opportunities for our students and match them up according to their interests. Also, if you're at Vanderbilt working in a lab and you have interesting data and you might want interested in having an intern, talk to us as well, because some of them will want to stay in academia. The students will also all have master's capstone projects, and so that's another opportunity to engage with them. You could be an advisor for a capstone project if you have an interesting project. So just come talk to us. These students will be here starting in August. And so if you come by the Data Science Institute anytime after August, you will see students there. That's going to be their home. And we will have a number of opportunities to connect with them. The other thing we're launching is a research program for undergraduates, kind of like Vanderbilt has the VUSRP or the VUSERP or the engineering one. We have a data science one. This is the cohort that we have made offers to and are coming this summer. So they will be here over the summer at the Institute. There are 9 Vanderbilt undergraduates. These are the advisors they'll be working with and the departments of their advisors. And so this is going to be another important component, is to engage undergrads in research. And once immersion kicks in next year, we're going to hope to contribute to that. And like everything else, what we want is to have all these people working on different areas to be really talking to each other, not working in their different silos. So things to look for next year. Perhaps the one that you might be most interested in is we're gonna launch an array of consulting engagements, which Jesse Spencer-Smith will coordinate. And what that means is if you are a researcher who is interested in getting help or consulting at any level with your data-intensive work, we want to be a resource for you. And so consulting engagements might be as simple as a 1-hour discussion. Or they might be as involved as a semester-long collaboration, where a team consisting of our data scientists and your postdocs, grad students, a couple master's students, maybe an undergrad, all work together as a team on your data. So stay tuned for that. We're going to launch these starting in the fall. The other thing that might interest you is we will start to have regular informal training programs at the Institute. So these could be like software carpentries, or little modules in machine learning, or how to program in Python, or how to use GitHub, or things like that. And this will be in coordination with the university libraries and the research IT group that Doug and Lindsay are heading, and Acre. And so our goal is really to contribute to that and create an environment at Vanderbilt where if you want to learn something technical, there is something there that you can go to. And then finally, we're going to have a lot of community events to really try to get people across different fields talking to each other. So seminars, working groups. We'd love it if people at Vanderbilt sort of self-organize and say, you know what, we want to work on time series data, because we have some time series data problem, and then someone from the medical center and astronomy and whatever all have similar questions or challenges. Let's create a working group, and we can support it as an institute and get people talking to each other. We'll also do hackathons and social mixers. Let's get students from different departments talking to each other. And let's get faculty meeting each other. So a lot of these things will really launch in the fall. And it's going to be a busy place at the Institute in the fall. We'll have our 25 students, we'll have our 6 postdocs, we'll have teaching faculty, and hopefully a lot of these events. So any questions about that before I say something about the schedule? Okay, so this is the schedule for today. I want to point out one small change. Andrea Ramirez, who was previously in the morning session, is going to be in the afternoon session. And so that's a change. We're going to now move to this next session here of short talks. I'm going to ask when the first person finishes talking and we go into the question session, the next person come up and hook up so that we have smooth transitions. And so we'll do the short talk session. Then we're going to go into the lightning talk session, which is sort of a 2-minute per person presentation. And the only way that works is if everyone is ready to go, lined up in the alphabetical order that we show on the slide, so that as soon as one person finishes, the next person goes, and we have something like 20 of these. Then we'll have lunch, and I will ask you to go outside, get your box lunches, and come back as quickly as possible so that we can do our lunchtime program, which is first to award the best poster. And whatever student has won the best poster will have the opportunity to present their poster to the whole crowd. And then we'll have a panel discussion with industry folks. Our keynote talk by Ian Howat, who works on amazing mapping projects of the Earth. Coffee break, more talks, and then at the end of the day, we'll see if Jesse's experiment is a failure or a success. So let's move on to the short talks. Heba?